Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know what time it is. It's the landlord, and we gonna bring facts, not feelings, and this is what we do. Terence Crawford gets a brutal stoppage win over a washed out Kell Brook. And I've been telling people a long time, Kell Brook is a washed out fighter. No punch resistance. The guy has nothing left. The guy is done. He came here for a check. That's all he came in for. We're not going to give this man a pat on the back for beating a washed out Kell Brook. We don't do that. If they claiming this guy is number one pound for pound fighter in the world, how are you number one pound for pound beating a washed out Kell Brook? I got to keep the same energy with Terence Crawford that I keep with Canelo Alvarez, that I keep with Anthony Joshua, that I keep with Teofimo Lopez, that I keep with Vasil Lomachenko. I have to keep the same energy. And if any one of those guys would have brutally stopped a washed out fighter for no belt, who hasn't been in a weight class for over 3 years, you would not hear me celebrating it. It's garbage truck juice. MR said, who is he supposed to fight? He's supposed to fight the Sean Porter who just called him before this fight, and Terence Crawford refused to negotiate. That's who he's supposed to fight. That's who he's supposed to fight. He had an opportunity to fight Sean Porter, and he refused it. He refused it to fight a washed-out Kell Brook. You don't get a cookie for fighting a washed-out fighter. You don't get a cookie for fighting a washed-out fighter. You don't get a cookie for beating a guy who's washed. You simply don't. I'm not going to salute you beating a washed fighter and call you pound for pound number one. That's not greatness. I'm a fan of greatness. Canelo Alvarez, Anthony Joshua. Who is Anthony Joshua taking on fight after fight after fight? The best. Everybody's ducking this man. Terence Crawford had a chance to fight Sean Porter, who called him personally, and Terence Crawford said, no, not now. I don't want to fight right now. Refused to open negotiations with Sean Porter. That would have been a much better fight. You got to look at a guy like this with Kell Brook. A lot of fanboys going to be in their feelings, but my job is not to protect your feelings. My job is not to make you feel okay. My job is not to pat you on the back because you want to salute a guy beating a washed-out fighter. That's not my job. My job is to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. So if you don't like the truth, this ain't for you. If you pee when you sit down, this ain't for you. If you don't like the truth, slap yourself and your mama for being stupid. Kell Brook was a washed-out fighter. This man has not fought in the welterweight division in over 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Kell Brook has not fought in the welterweight division in over 3. This guy had 2 major surgeries to put titanium plates in his face. And you're telling me this is the same man? This is a great fighter? What are we talking about here? Kell Brook was walking around before the fight looking like the Walking Dead. This man was looking like the Walking Dead, and Terence Crawford was playing Rick. This don't make no damn sense. This don't make no damn sense. Is there anyone at 147 that actually wanted? Sean Porter, he turned the fight down. He told Sean Porter he didn't want to fight. You got to rely on facts, not feelings. Terence Crawford told Sean Porter he didn't want him before this fight. So, yes, people do want to fight him. He never sent a contract to Yordenis Ugas. Never. And Ugas admitted it. I'm not going to protect no fanboys' feelings. I'm not going to make nobody feel better. I'm going to be honest and unbiased about it. You hyping a guy who came out and knocked out a dude coming in looking like a walking zombie. We need legitimate top fights for Terence Bud Crawford. The man is a beast. The man's a pound for pound type of fighter. He's a superstar in the sport of boxing. I've always supported Terence Crawford. But when you should have fought a guy like Sean Porter and you chose to watch out Kell Brook, who obviously came there for a paycheck, this is garbage truck juice. This is garbage truck juice. Anybody that don't want to believe the truth, anybody that want to ignore the facts, you a fanboy. And if you believe that shit, you a fanboy. I'm not going to protect feelings. My job is not to protect dudes who put on lip gloss. My job is not to protect dudes who sit down when they pee. My job is not to protect dudes who close the refrigerator door with their hips. Those are fanboys. I'm here to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not, and this is facts over feeling. Kell Brook was washed. He was washed. Sean Porter offered Terence Crawford to smoke. Terence Crawford said he didn't want it. So if you didn't want it with Sean Porter, who would have been a great one, Kell Brook was washed. Why are you doing it? And you lost the first 2 rounds to a washed fighter. That fight was trash. Anybody that believes this was a great fight is an absolute stupid, idiot, dummy, and a moron. Kell Brook has already been stopped twice by stoppage. What are we talking about? Kell Brook had 2 major surgeries in his career, 2 titanium plates put in his face. What are you talking about? Do you realize that Terence Crawford doesn't even see this as a big win? He said, what did Terence Crawford say about this? What did he say? Terence Crawford said, Jeff Horn is still his best win at welterweight. He doesn't even rate this win above him beating a guy like Jeff Horn. Jeff, I use my head horn in the middle of the ring. He doesn't even rate this fight over that. He doesn't. This was a garbage fight. This is a garbage. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and protect your feelings. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Anybody that believes is Crawford pound for pound number one, he's a great fighter. I personally like Terence Crawford, but this man is nowhere near pound for pound number one. I'm sorry. I got Canelo 1, Anui 2. I don't see Crawford in a 1 or 2 spots. He didn't do anything deserving. Beating the washed out Kell Brook and turning down a Sean Porter fight does not make you pound for pound number one. Saying that Jeff Horn is your best win at welterweight does not make you pound for pound number one. Anybody that believes that, you obviously pee when you sit down, because that's garbage truck juice. I mean, think about it. What kind of guy turns around and say, well, Jeff Horn's still my best win? Well, so why are you celebrating a knockout of a washed guy in Kell Brook? It doesn't make any sense. There's 3 things that Kell Brook is not coming into this fight: a prime fighter, a world champion, or relevant at 147 pounds. In 3 years, this man has not seen 147 pounds. Stop playing. Stop playing. These are facts over feelings. These are facts over feelings. He said Brook beat only Porter. And you know, Brook beat this guy 6 years ago. This ain't even the same Kell Brook. He's gotten 2 face plates put in his face since then. This man is not the same. We're going to give you facts, not feeling. Kell Brook is not a prime fighter. He's not a world champion. He's not even relevant in the last 3 years at welterweight. The guy's walking around looking like the Walking Dead. The guy's looking like a zombie. You telling me you giving this man credit for a zombie and you want to boost him up? Them are fanboys saying that. These are fanboys. We got to be real. Come on. And then how was Kell Brook still winning the first few rounds? Doesn't make any sense. This is garbage truck juice. I'm going to be real with you when nobody else going to be real. I'm going to tell you the truth when nobody else would dare tell you, because my job is not to sit here and coddle you. My job is not to sit here and pat you on the back and say, oh, that was a great fight. Even though he beat a washed out fighter when he could have fought a good Sean Porter who's actually relevant and been consistently fighting in the welterweight division. Come on, man, this is trash. Why is people celebrating trash? Top Rank even put on a garbage card. Nobody liked this crap. What are we talking about? Terence Crawford had every advantage in this fight, and I'm supposed to give you a cookie for beating a washed fighter? Joe Tessitore called this a mega fight. Joe Tessitore for ESPN called this a mega fight. And that just proved to me that everybody on the ESPN staff needs to be drug tested right now, because they all got to be smoking to believe this trash. Joe Tessitore called this a mega fight. He got to be smoking something to believe that this was a mega fight. You got to be smoking. You got to be. ESPN was talking about this is the type of fight that would be on pay-per-view. Then I say these guys have all lost their mind. They're absolutely delusional. You put this on pay-per-view? On pay-per-view? This is absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. If this was Loma, Canelo, AJ, they would all be held accountable for fighting this level of competition, because it doesn't fit these fanboys' narratives to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. I represent greatness. I represent doing the most, not doing the least and getting a pat on the back. I don't give out cookies for a guy beating out a washed out fighter turning down a Sean Porter. I'm simply not going to do it. I'm simply not going to do it. If you don't like it, slap yourself and slap your mama. Terence Crawford said Jeff Horn was still his best win in the welterweight division. Explain that. So why are you celebrating Kell Brook? I mean, Terence Crawford's own team and attorney said they're mad at Top Rank because they haven't had a breakthrough fight. So what do you think this fight was? This fight was against a washed fighter. This makes no sense. This fight was garbage truck juice. Kell Brook came here for a check. He's washed. He's nowhere near the top level. He hasn't even been a welterweight for the last 3 years. What are we talking about here? We got to be real about the situation. And I'm going to be real when nobody else will be real. I'm going to tell you the truth when nobody else will tell you the truth. Why will I do it? Because I got to be honest and unbiased.